Hello everyone. This week we're gonna talk about the best weapons in Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. Basically we're gonna go through each of the tiers of weapons that exist, and of course we're gonna then talk about what we consider to be the best weapons. Stick around until the end of the video, guys, it will be packed with information. So without further ado, let's go! Let's start with Tier 1. Tier 1 only has a damage type kind of weapons. It's slashing weapons. We have the improvised axe, the iron sword, and the iron war axe. For the improvised axe, we don't need any special kind of crafting. We can do it on the field crafting menu, and it's pretty cheap. It only costs 2 cloth scraps, 3 metal fragments, and 4 wood scraps. The iron sword and the iron war axe, instead, they both need to be crafted on the forge. And for the iron sword, we are talking about 1 iron scrap, 3 iron ingots, and 4 wood scraps. And for the forge, 2 iron scraps, 2 iron ingots, and 4 wood scraps. So these are the tier 1 weapons, but what we really need is the tier 2 weapons. On the tier 2 weapons, we are introduced to arrows, and of course, to the bows. But we're not gonna talk about the bows this episode. We're gonna only talk about weapons. So for us, weapons will be spears, arrows, battle axes, battle swords, and mauls. On tier 2, we have 2 kinds of piercing weapons that do piercing type of damage. We have arrows and the Erigion spear. The arrow, it's produced in the workbench. It costs 15 wood scraps and 3 metal fragments. The Erigion spear, it's made on the Great Forge of Narvi, and it costs 1 bronze ingot and 8 elven wood. From the tier 2 weapons, the Erigion spear is the best by far. It has a high speed attack, it does decent amount of damage for a tier 2 weapon. It is the best weapon in the piercing category by far in tier 2. Then we have the steel battle axe and the steel sword. Both of them part of the damage type of slashing. Both of them can be crafted in the forge. For the steel battle axe, we are talking about 2 hide, 3 steel ingots, and 4 elven wood. For the steel sword, 1 hide, 3 steel ingots, and 4 elven wood. On the bludgeoning damage type and steel, on tier 2, we have the Last Alliance maul. It can be done on the forge. It costs 1 bronze ingot, 2 steel ingots, and 2 hides, and 4 elven wood. And in my opinion, in the tier 2 tier, we are talking about the Erigion spear and the Last Alliance maul. They are the best one. By far, I would prefer the Erigion spear just because it is a faster attack speed, and of course you can control a lot better the damage. Then we go to tier 3 weapons. In tier 3 weapons we have also slashing and piercing kind of damage. On the slashing we have the Belagost Albert, the First Age Greatsword, and the First Age Sword. The Belagost Albert can be done in the Great Belagost Forge, on Khazad-dûr Forge, and it costs 1 amethyst, 1 leather, 2 Chandron ingots, and 4 Ubasan wood. Then you have the First Age Greatsword, which can be produced in the forge. It costs 1 ruby, 1 leather, 5 silver ingots, and 45 Ubasan wood. And then the First Age Sword, which can be done in the forge. Of course, for this one, we'll need also the Gem Cutter add-on to the forge. And we are talking about 1 ruby, 1 leather, 3 silver ingots, 4 Ubasan wood. On the piercing side, we have the Elven arrows and the First Age bolts. Both of them can be produced on the workbench. The Elven arrows will work with the bows of the game, and the First Age bolts will work with the crossbows. For the Elven arrows, we are talking about 1 bronze ingot, 2 feathers, and 10 elven wood. And for the First Age bolts, we are talking about 1 silver ingot and 10 Ubasan woods. So yeah, on the tier 3 kind of weapons, in my opinion, the Belagost Albert will be the best one by far. And also, I have a personal favorite for the First Age Sword. Is the weapon I'm using at the moment. and it's pretty cool. I like it. And of course, the Persia's greatsword. Who doesn't like double-ended weapons? Then on tier 4, we have piercing, bludgeoning, and slashing types of damage. On the piercing, we have the Dimmeril spear and the Khazad bolts. The Dimmeril spears can be done in the Khazadul forge with the gem cutter. It costs 1 Khazad steel ingot, 1 fine leather, and 4 iron wood. The Khazad bolts can be done on the workbench, and they cost 1 Khazad steel ingot, 2 feathers, and 10 iron wood. Then on the bludgeoning head side, we have the Khazad maul. Once again, done on the Khazadul forge. It costs 1 fine leather, 3 Khazad steel ingots, 4 iron wood, and the Khazad word mattock, which can be done also on the same forge, and it costs 1 fine leather, 3 Khazad steel ingots, and 4 iron wood. Then on the slashing part, we have the Khazad war axe, which can be also done on the Khazadul forge with a gem cutter, and of course it costs 1 fine leather, 2 Khazad steel ingots, and 4 iron wood. On tier 4 weapons, in my opinion, they are pretty deemed by tier 5 and tier 6, which we're gonna cover in a bit, but the Khazad war mattock, in my opinion, is pretty good for tier 4. Of course, don't forget our last video where we described that you should always be prepared with several weapons and at least have a primary and a secondary, so I would recommend work around if you have the resources for it, of course, because as bigger the tier, it becomes pretty expensive in terms of time to guarantee that you have all the materials that you need to make your weapons. But yeah, the Khazad War mattock would be my go-to, and of course the Khazad War axe. But in my humble opinion is that I love axes in this game. You are dwarfs in the game, we are dwarfs in the game, so it makes all the sense for them to have axe around and war hammers and all of that. So yeah, that's my opinion, just role-playing the thing. Then on tier 5, we have slashing and piercing weapons. On the slashing part, we have the Red Axe of Nogrod and the Radiant Sword of Nogrod. Both of them need the Great Nogrod Forge, and for the Red Axe of Nogrod, we are talking about 2 fine leather, 4 Nogrod steel ingots, and 4 iron wood. For the Radiant Sword, we are talking about 1 fine leather, 3 Nogrod steel ingots, and 4 iron wood. On the piercing side, we have the Nogrod bolts, which are unblocked on the workbench, and you need 1 Nogrod steel ingot, 3 feathers, and 10 iron wood. Visually, one of the finest weapons, in my opinion, is the Red Axe of Nogrod. I like a lot the visuals of the videos I've been seeing. I have another personal favorite in terms of visual effects, and of course, if you add spells to it and enchant, for example, the fire enchantment, it becomes like crazy beautiful, the weapon. But yeah, it's my opinion once again. And well, when I reach tier 5, I have not reached yet on my let's play, but when I reach tier 5, for sure I'm gonna make the Red Axe of Nogrod, that's for sure. Then of course we have the last tier, tier 6. Tier 6 is when you really get that punch, when you really get those really big and good weapons, when you unblock the secret metal of Mithril. The Great Mithril Forge is needed for both the tier 6 weapons. We have only 2 categories here, bludgeoning and piercing. On the bludgeoning type, we have the Sagro Izaban, which is a great weapon. It's done on the Great Mithril Forge, costs 1 anarin, 3 mithril ingots, and 4 iron wood. It is one of the best weapons in the game. And then we have, in my opinion, and in everyone else's opinion, the best weapon in the game. It comes from the piercing category, and it's called the Shak Nanaman. In this case, I believe I'm just butchering these names off. Just bear with me. But Yeah, it's also produced in the Gate Mithril Forge. It costs 5 mithril ingots, 6 iron wood, 9 diamonds, and 9 scales. It is a pretty expensive weapon, but by far, and in the opinion of a lot of content creators and a lot of people out there, it is the best weapon in the game by far. So if you can get the resources to construct it, just make it, craft it, and use it, and you will see that any foe that will appear against you will be run down pretty easily. So yeah, guys, these are the 6 tiers of weapons. We have gone into each tier in a little bit of detail regarding what category of damage, what it's needed to be crafted, and of course how much it costs. And of course, as an honorable mention, we have During's Axe. To be able to craft During's Axe, you need all the 5 pieces of the axe, and you need the following materials: 3 Durin Null iron ingots, 3 sunstones, 4 iron wood, and 1 fine leather, plus all the pieces of the axe. This is one of the best axes in the game, and also it works as a tool because you can use it to mine and break stone all over Moria. I would probably will do in the future other videos covering bows, crossbows, shields, all those kinds of things, but for today we're gonna only look into these weapons. I hope that you like this video, and I hope to see you again here. Guys, I do content every week. I release a video like this every week, and of course I have my content on my Let's Play series, where at the moment we are playing Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. Go see it if you like to see my Let's Plays. And of course, if you like my content, if you saw the video until the end, please consider leaving a like, subscribing. If you have any questions, or if you want me to improve on something on my video, leave a comment. I will be more than appreciated to get any feedback. Any feedback for me, it's positive, even if it's something that is annoying you, or if something that you don't like on my content. So yeah, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one.